That's what we'll do.
Okay.
I had it. It's gone. We had the bit. I don't know what the bit is. Where is the bit? Do you have the bit? I don't have the bit.
Hang on. Let me rummage around here.
Oh my god, the bit.
All right, here.
Oh.
The bit is Xenosys.
You know what? That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I don't know if we got a phone call live on stream.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me,
What's going on?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? You're live on stream.
Don't say anything fucked up.
You there, Wesley?
Did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, now you're live on stream with Pixel Pulse. How's it going, viewer?
Bro, what the fuck? Why are you telling me this? I'm out of here.
No, you...
And with that, we'd like to welcome you to the stream, everyone. Welcome to Pixel Pulse, episode 12, the episode where we become ex-members of Pixel Pulse, because today is the X episode of Pixel Pulse.
Yeah, so we actually got to cut down from the higher-ups, Cleo. For those of you who don't know who Cleo is, we'll make sure we post a picture up somewhere for you to be able to see who Cleo is.
Yeah, Cleo is... post the emoji. Yeah.
So
post the emote.
Cleo dictated that we are unfortunately not cooperating with the government enough, and so we are terminated. The American Sign Languager is free, so unfortunately, due to legal restrictions on that, the American Sign Languager will no longer be mentioned on the podcast.
Yeah, we're literally not allowed to even talk about the lawsuit regarding that, so this is the last time we'll mention it. However, it's not the last time we'll mention Concord.
So Xenosys said his first words as soon as I answered were bitch ass n words. So
it's a good thing that didn't.
Well, it was with the soft A. It was with the soft A. He said the rapper N-word version.
Okay.
Well, we don't do that here.
Yeah, all right.
Not anymore.
This is a show where we don't say those words. And in fact, this is a show where we talk about video games. Do you know what video games are?
So, unfortunately, yes. They're kind of realistically, if I had to say if I was addicted to anything, probably video games. Like, if we had to, like, is that really like something? So,
I'm addicted to crack cocaine.
So I guess for me is like, what would be the definition? Like what could be like considered an addictive substance, and can video games fall underneath the addictive substance category? Because clearly, like we show that there's some responsive stimuli when it comes to like colors and stuff on the screen. Like look at CoComelon, that can literally trigger the same amount of like things like nicotine does and like a child's dopamine receptors.
What are we talking about right now?
Can games be as addictive, if not more addictive than drugs?
Yes.
And so it's like drugs, we have the stipulation that like, oh, a drug addiction is a problem once it like starts damaging your life and stuff like that. But when are we gonna like stop and take a look and see like maybe there are some people out there who are having their lives damaged by like actual game addiction?
I would say that yes, that does in fact happen to people, that they do in fact get addicted to video games. I can already
see
this is a
like,
little bit.
I can already see you grabbing your Wii U copy of Xenoblade X over there.
Yeah. And
so I get that it's coming. The conversation is coming. This episode is not the X episode. This episode is the Xenoblade X interview.
I want to play. You hear that?
I miss the Wii U cases.
Yeah, that's the sound of gaming. I love gaming.
But like, it is like a genuine like, consideration. At what point would we consider an addiction problematic, and then can games hit that level of problem?
Well, okay. According to every article that my parents would read in 2008, yes, video games are extremely addictive. I should stop playing them, and I should fucking finish my math homework. But consider this for a moment. Animal Crossing taught me how to read, all right? I didn't know how to read until I saw Tom Nook on my screen going, and I was like, I want to know what that boy just said to me.
And it's like, for me too, like when I was like younger and playing Oblivion, I would read like the Oblivion books to my little brother, like my little sister, when she was like 3 or 4. I would read through Oblivion and always read like all of the Elder Scroll lore books. Same came with Skyrim. I was like maybe like 11 was when that came out. So what, 14 years ago, I'm 28 now. I was like 14 when that came out. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I read smut, was in Skyrim. They had one called The Lusty Argonian Maid,
Yeah.
and it was just about an Argonian. You know what an Argonian is? The lizard people.
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, so the Argonians are lizard people, and
Like George Bush. Got it.
Yeah, sure. Well, I wouldn't say George is the one that's lizard. I think his father, though. His father definitely is a
Jeffrey Bush.
Sure, we can go with that as his name.
I don't know what his name is.
He's also George Washington, or not George Washington.
His name is George Washington. Same.
So from Bacon, Mac, and Cheese, she actually says internet gaming disordered is actually in the DSM-5 manual underneath section 3.
Yeah.
So that is kind of neat that that is actually something someone else considered beforehand. I thought I was being topical and be like, it's gaming an addiction, which I mean, it is a legitimate, I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about a lot. Like, how many times have I like forsaken going outside or doing anything just because I wanted to play Counter-Strike and get good at Counter-Strike?
Yeah. I'm gonna be suffering that in approximately 4 days, and I'm never gonna be seen by the public again.
Are they going to be charging? Are they charging full price for Xenoblade X?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's $60, but we'll get into it when we do. But it's a remaster that I think maybe earns it because of how much they're adding to it, and they're changing a lot with how the game is. It's in many ways, it is the same game, yes, but they're also adding like much more substantial content, and they're fixing a lot of the game's big problems. But we'll get into that one.
Yeah, because I do have a series. I remember distinctly thinking it was really cool when you showed it to me on the Wii U. And I also remember learning about like the massive boss fight that apparently like took like over a month.
Yeah, there's 2 raid bosses in the game.
And it's like I do have interest in it. I wish I enjoyed MMOs a bit more. I've tried to get into WoW recently. I can't do it, unfortunately. WoW is just too much for new players. But I guess since we're talking about it here, let's lead it into the next question I'm going to have for you, though, is, by the way, hi there, welcome to Pixel Pulse. I'm Melvin.
Yeah.
I'm Melvin. I go
Doxed himself twice.
I mean, I don't necessarily mind, realistically. I want to be an entertainer, and entertainers have their phone. The internet's going to know my name eventually. But at the end of the day, hi, I'm Melvin. We're here with Pixel Pulse. So we have with me today Gabriel Surge.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Gabriel Surge. That's me. And it's just the two of us in case it wasn't obvious. It's not that our third member is being really quiet and has said nothing. We're actually it's just the two of us.
Yeah. So if you ever got sick of looking at a Gary or listening to a Gary, this is it. This is your chance. This is the chance where you get the guy who has multiple chins, so it reverberates and makes me sound like I have things that aren't being said properly.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're down to 2 people right now. It might end up getting intensely heated with some making out later. We'll find out down the road. It depends. I don't know how many of you actually ship any of us. I would like to think maybe.
How many of you guys shit any of us? That's what I want to know. You can do all your shipping all you want, but shitting?
I mean, depending on the right fans that you sleep with, they could be shitting us.
Don't sleep with your fans, by the way. Any viewers out there looking to start a podcast, do not sleep with your fans. Unless your fans are like the fans that blow cold air onto you, you can sleep with those. In fact, I highly recommend it. It's nice.
We have one OTP in chat. It is Gabe with his sneaky link.
Oh yeah, my sneaky
link. His one true pairing.
My sneaky link is Tony Pizza TV.
I knew it this whole time. I have always known. Ever since I was at your apartment and you had me play Sonic Fighters with him. And then you both were concerned that I knew how to play Sonic Fighters.
I'm just always concerned. That's what I do, is I be concerned.
I mean, Sonic Fighters is pretty good, though. I spent some time grinding that. I had fun with Sonic. Okay, look, don't look at me like that. I know it's not good, actually, but when you're poor, homeschooled, and you got only Sonic Dreams collection for 2 days, that's it. You're playing what you got. And Sonic's, and I actually learned I don't really necessarily care for 2D Sonic as much as I used to anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. Like I've only really been a fan of 3D Sonic when it comes to Sonic games. Like I've played a couple of the 2D ones. Mania was okay, but I still haven't even finished Mania.
I do like Sonic Rush. Did you ever play those on the DS?
I played Sonic Rush Adventure, the one with the boat.
I do not know about the one with the boat. I just know there was one with there's two of them like Blaze the Cat.
Yeah, there was Sonic Rush Adventure was definitely an experience. I'll tell you what, those boats were pissing me off.
I will say, I also really. Did you ever play Sonic Advance 3?
No, I've never played the Sonic Advance games.
Oh, if you ever get the chance, I think you might like those a little bit better.
One of my viewers, Captain Froze, is always telling me to play Sonic Advance 3. I'm just waiting for it to one day come to NSO or something.
So the thing with Sonic Advance 3, they have like a neat mechanic where you can like pair each of the individual characters up and they can do like certain special abilities. Like one of my favorites is if you're playing as I think Cream and cheese, the little Chow. The Chow, depending on who your partner is, will like take up the form of that like partner. Mm-hmm. So like you're running around with Knuckles and Cream, the Chow will turn into like a little mini Knuckles and pop, 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 and do some shenanigans and stuff like that. I don't remember necessarily if that's how it worked. I just remember thinking that they had little Chow designs for each of the characters. So I guess let's lead into this question. What have you been playing lately?
Man, so I've been
chat. This goes for you guys as well. If you want to go ahead and like talk about what you guys have been playing lately.
I've finally moved past my Balatro addiction. I haven't touched the game in almost 2 weeks.
I'm about to start my Balatro addiction.
Yeah,
that came to Game Pass.
It's once you start, you don't stop for a very long time. I'm warning you.
I'm good at poker.
That shit is worse than crack cocaine. All right, that is the most addictive substance in the world. Balatro
is in the DSM-5 underneath Section 4.
Yeah. No. Lately, I've been playing in my free time in between streams. I've been playing Animal Crossing: New Horizons again. I started a new town like 7 months ago, then stopped playing it, and now I'm playing that same town again. And it's pretty cool. I got a big castle that's in the middle of the town with a moat around it. And
did I ever tell you about what happened when I tried to go back to that recently?
Yeah.
Your entire island was still there.
Yeah.
And
you want to tell context to the stream?
Yeah. So recently, I've swapped switches a few times over the years. Because I ended up upgrading to a nice sleek Mario one for the second like Switch Type 2. And so unfortunately for a while there, I didn't have my island, so I let Gabe use my Switch to move his island over. Flash forward like 3 years later, I go back to finally play Animal Crossing, and I'm like, who is this? Who are these people? And it's a really nicely designed island. And so it just made me look at it all and go, I'm not playing this anymore. I'm putting this down. This island's too nice. Gabe did a good job, but unfortunately now I can't get back home because he put teleport pipes to get to his house, and I can't find the pipe to get back into the house.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been playing that again a lot lately. As for what I've been streaming, been playing through Okami. Still working through that.
There are, I think, 3 Okami games in total.
There's Okami, and then there's Okami Dead on DS, and then there's the sequel that's coming out.
Yeah, or okay. I thought for some reason the sequel was already out.
No, there might be another one, but as far as I'm aware, it's just the 2 are out, and then there's the one that's coming out.
Have you eventually played Okami before?
No, this is my first playthrough.
So I played it originally back on PlayStation 2. Mm-hmm. I gotta tell you, if you're playing it on Switch now, probably. Yeah. Right? Can you draw with the gyro controls on the Switch?
Yes.
That's probably way better to play.
I'm playing it with a controller though, because I've come to find in recent days I don't like motion controls that much.
So you get it now. Yeah. You finally understand why Star Fox Zero made me so mad.
Yeah. I'm not like, I'll do gyro controls for things like bow aiming in Zelda or Splatoon. That works for me. But like pointing like a Wii remote at the screen, like I remember I did, I remember Mario Galaxy 2. I streamed that game like 8 years ago or 7 years ago or something. And there's this one fucking level where you're rolling around on a goddamn ball, and the way it works is you have to tilt the controller to control like how much Mario is moving on the ball, and it's really fucking annoying because even with a Wii Motion Plus Wii Remote, it was incredibly inaccurate, and I would have so many deaths that weren't my fault, and it was extremely infuriating. And honestly, that's where I'm at with a lot of motion controls these days, is that it's just not as precise as something like a button input, where like if I miss input, it's on me. But
is it? I don't know if it's just me, but it also does kind of feel like that the Switch is...
Joy-Cons are not as accurate as a Wii Remote because
Yeah.
it doesn't have it's gyro-based technology, not pointer
which
IR
is,
stuff.
and the IR stuff is like, it's like one of those things where it's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
And but it's just like, I remember fondly like playing arcade shooters on the Switch or the Wii, and on the Switch trying to play one. It's just not really there. It doesn't have the same oomph behind it. That I just think the Wii Remote is just better than the Joy-Cons in general.
What's kind of nice is that the Switch 2 Joy-Con, as patents have come to show, are going to have an optical sensor on both of them right here in between the SL and SR buttons. And
Which is on the spine of the Joy-Con, where you would clip your safety things on, if for people who are a little bit less versed.
Yeah. So the Joy-Cons are going to be able to function as mice. Both of them can on the Switch 2, which would be interesting because we can potentially have games like Splatoon have more traditional like mouse and keyboard controls instead of being gyro based, or in the case of like Mario Galaxy with the pointer controls, it can just be a cursor on the screen with a mouse. So
that can be interesting.
Try it for yourself.
Let me get the roller ball on the bottom of my fucking.
Put it down and like slide it around.
Yeah, like I could see that easily, where especially if I can like turn it sideways, kind of like this a little bit, or like kind of just.
And I'm sure that like already on the Switch, I'm pretty sure. I know keyboards work. I think mice do work on the Switch. I don't think they have much functionality though.
I would love. Oh my god, could you imagine playing like Splatoon, like kind of like.
Yeah, I think since the Switch 2 will have like built-in mice support, you'll see a lot more third-party games and first-party that actually incorporate keyboard mouse controls into the console. Something you might notice, for example, is like.
Do you think we'll see a return of Mario Paint?
That would be nice.
I would like that, especially if they can do like something.
You can do some with the touchscreen with that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Something else you might know though is so like in Splatoon for Doom on Switch. On Switch, the Pro controller can do gyro aiming. I
heard about that. I never tried it because I didn't really want to play Doom on the Switch. No,
I don't know if Doom is quite the same, but I know for a fact there are some third-party games where the gyro is only enabled on Switch, but it's not on PS5, despite the PS5 controller having a gyro in it. It's just that people don't really care about it on the PlayStation as much. So what I'm predicting is with the Switch having a built-in mouse functionality, you might see devs who are making Switch ports of games put in native keyboard mouse support.
I was gonna say, nice. I can only think of like maybe 2 games that use the gyros on the PlayStation 5 like that for aiming, and that's the Astrobot game, and then I think one of the Horizon Dawn games can let you aim your bow with that. But like the Astrobot's the only one I can think of, and I thought, oh, that controls so much better than Switch. But then I have never seen them do it again. Now, granted, I didn't play the new Astrobot, so maybe there is like more gyro control aiming. I think with there is in that. So that could be also very much another example of that. But I think it would be interesting to see them put a mouse into the controller. I don't necessarily know how functionally it'll be useful. Yeah, I agree. We'll just kind of have to see. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like using a Joy-Con as a mouse is a little awkward, but it's functional to the point where like I think that just by virtue of having a native keyboard and mouse, or just the mouse, I guess, available on Switch, you would see more third-party accessories
make a more traditional mouse that would actually sell, because people are like, okay, well, now that this has native mouse support, people might make more games that use it, and then thus you could potentially have a real mouse if that's something you care about.
Which I guess the bigger problem that runs into this too is how much farther into like making the Switch into a useful tool would you think they would go?
What do you mean a useful tool?
So like clearly adding like web browser functionality and like a mouse for inside your Joy-Con seems like, oh, these are utility based things you can use your Switch for. How much farther do you think they'll push the utility of the console to make it more useful for everyday use?
I mean, I think first and foremost, it's a video game console, and that's probably how Nintendo sees it. Is it's supposed to be an entertainment device, not necessarily like a handheld PC.
Yeah, but I know like a large part of the design for the Switch is also like you're meant to use it for like business commutes and stuff like that too in Japan.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like
it's like a time killer thing. I don't think Nintendo would want to push making the Switch into a like lifestyle. Like I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah, especially because with the rise of like handheld PCs being a big thing.
I don't think I think Nintendo is blissfully ignorant to the handheld PC market and is just going to continue to do their own thing, for better or for worse. You know, take that as it is. I think Nintendo is looking to not necessarily compete with the Steam Deck, but offer a more... Because the thing with the deck is you have compatibility issues with some games, right? Like some games just don't run on a deck, even modern games.
Yeah, which I mean, but that's also, you got to consider the library sizes compared to each other too. Like,
yeah.
So it like sure the Nintendo Switch will have everything that theoretically works on it, but at the same time, the PC library is probably like maybe roughly double, if not triple that.
Oh, definitely. Like
the Switch, so. You're bound to run into more people or more issues that way with like the Steam Deck. I just it just worries me seeing the growing like portable handheld PC market, and it makes me wonder if maybe we might see Nintendo make a home console again eventually.
Well, you know what? I think this sort of ties into one of your topics here. You wanna get in on that? There, homeboy.
You know, I don't even think the timer's going on the other left screen, so I didn't even.
It's not. But we're 28 minutes in, so we're good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoops. Anyways, chat. Hi. Welcome to Pixel Pull.
We're just going. We're yapping. This is a free-form episode.
So yeah, I guess we'll talk about what my topic was a huge So a huge announcement recently. I can't exactly find the source of this. I keep seeing it pop up everywhere, but there's been a lot of news about Microsoft announcing a new handheld PC as their next console, rather than like a traditional like Series X. Or speculation is it's the next console. I think it might be more of like a spin-off accessory maybe, or like an extra like alternative.
I'm seeing something like, from what I've seen on this, because I've also seen this. Again, also don't really have a source here, but
it's rough because like when I try to look for a source, there's no direct sources confirming that Microsoft announced any of this.
It might just be a rumor, but what I take from it is more like PlayStation Portal.
See, that's what I would think too, but the PlayStation Portal is more so. Well, actually, they changed the PlayStation Portal recently.
Did they?
Yeah. So originally, the PlayStation Portal was kind of like the Wii U gamepad.
Yeah.
Where you had to be like in the certain range with your console and just play on it.
Now you can play it as far as you want, but it's cloud-based streaming, right?
Yeah.
I've heard of people playing it on a plane before.
Yeah. So it's like...
But it's cloud-based, so like you'll have mixed results on how good that is.
So like obviously in some parts of the country where the internet's really strong and really good, like I'm fairly certain you could probably play something cloud here.
Maybe.
In like mid-ranged Ohio. So it's like
Skibbity, Ohio.
Essentially, from what I've been told, this console is going to be a portable Windows PC, and they're working in close partnership with Epic and Steam to go and make sure both of their store pages and stuff like that work on their new console. So what everyone is now talking about, and this is I think personally, this is probably maybe a good move if they can make it affordable. Is the biggest challenge.
Here's a question: do you think? Okay, so it's coming from Microsoft, obviously, and we know Microsoft for the Xbox.
Well,
but do you think
they
maybe
also made Windows?
Well, that's what I was about to say. Do you think maybe this isn't an Xbox necessarily, and it's more just a Windows-based
I think
product?
it's more of an actual Microsoft product, which is why I've been saying Microsoft instead of Xbox specifically. I just know that the Xbox brand is being heavily associated with this.
Okay.
This is, in all intents and purposes, every time I see anything marketed, this is the next Xbox console product. So that's why I'm like thinking Xbox, but realistically, it's very likely that this is not just an Xbox product, which makes sense to me because if you're sitting there and you have a massive Microsoft is probably one of the biggest companies in the world, if not the biggest company in the world.
I don't think they're the biggest anymore, but they used to be.
Well, I guess the only reason that's the only other one I can think of that might beat them out.
Tesla, maybe.
Nah. The reason why I think Microsoft is the biggest is because just think about how many things in general just use Windows.
Yeah, I mean
most like hospital machines, like most everything, even like outside of like gaming and stuff like that. It comes down to it. It's either. I think you made two very good like counter options. I think it could be Tesla or it could be like Amazon, but I think very much so Microsoft is actively in everyone's lives.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have this massive company with like this massive amount of like power and software development behind them. It would make sense that you would devote more resources towards your gaming side and then just eliminate the gaming eventually, especially with the fact that Xbox seems to be pushing towards a cloud-based more service.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that like
because it would be Game Pass is crazy like popular right now, and
it would be surprising to me if this is marketed as an Xbox because, I mean. Not that the Xbox Series X is like a Wii U type situation, but like
apparently, like they showed off there's like some leaks of the like shape of the console, and they're making it look like an Xbox. Apparently,
I'm just surprised because like I feel like the Xbox console sales have been on a decline, so I feel like Microsoft would want to kind of distance themselves from the Xbox brand. And more market it as just a Windows product.
And that might be what this is the thing. They might be just enveloping Xbox entirely. And I wonder if eventually we'll stop seeing it be called the Xbox Game Pass. And I wonder if we'll start seeing it called the Microsoft Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because, I think you're right. I think Xbox has been the one that's been losing for the last, like, sorry, your Steam notification popped up and I was looking because I don't know. I noticed I'm sober right now. So it's like essentially what I'm thinking in my mind is Xbox has been like third place for like the last two console generations. I think they arguably almost won with the 360. I think the PlayStation 3 pulled ahead towards the end of the lifespans for both of them, if I recall correctly, because they started having redesigns that made the PlayStation 3 a little bit better.
All I know is that fucking MGS4 crashed on me like 3 separate times on the PS3, so I got a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I wish that game would just come over.
Yeah. And Sonic Unleashed also ran like dog shit on PS3. Maybe
with the creation of Delta, we might be able to see the other Metal Gear Solid games come back in some form.
Yeah, I've been... that was another thing I was going to kind of say during this what have you been playing segment, but I didn't really say it because I haven't been playing them, but I've also been on a Metal Gear kick again lately. I've been watching playthroughs of the Metal Gear games, and I've been on a big... That's been my hyper fixation while I've been waiting for Xenoblade.
I almost started playing Revengeance.
I have not played that at all yet, and it's on my list. It's probably be one of the next like big games that I play after Xenoblade.
I'm gonna say if you don't want to buy it, I can probably family share with you.
Okay.
At some point, because they changed the way how Steam family share works.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying something about this.
I'll go ahead and tell chat. So essentially, Steam changed up their family share settings to where you now can just share with anyone in your household, theoretically household. I can probably like log you in here. And when you do, you just have access to my library as long as I'm not playing that game. It's different now. Like it used to be, if I was playing something, no one else could play anything off my account.
Yeah, that's how the Switch works.
Now it's so much nicer. You have to make sure you set your license to that though on your Switch, which I found that out because I was letting my brother use my account, and like I had my licenses on his account on his Switch, and then I moved it back over to mine because I was going to let Jasmine use my Switch for a while, and while I got the games.
No, you're the gamer.
I'm a gamer.
You're the gamer.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So regarding the Xbox, what do you expect out of this? Like, do you expect this to do well? Like, how do you like?
I think it comes down to price. I think is what we're gonna see is because if you can turn around for a second and bring up your Steam page, you can look up and see how much a Steam Deck is right this moment. Yeah, you'll just hit
on my phone, but
my bad. Yeah.
Oh, this is awkward. I'm like tied up in cables.
I didn't realize you were like nestled in there. I'm sorry, but yeah, like if you just type 400 for the base version of the Steam Deck. Which I don't know if you heard me retort before. If that Switch 2 comes out to be more than a Steam Deck, I might as well just get a Steam Deck at that point.
Yeah. But I have heard that the Steam Deck is... I have a viewer who comes by every now and then, and they primarily used Macs their entire life, right? And they really wanted to play the new Monster Hunter. So they bought a Steam Deck just for the Monster Hunter. For Monster Hunter Wilds, and it does not run.
No, because that leads into a whole nother topic actually that we have set up for later in the show. Because I know exactly what happened because I'm very well aware of it because there's been a really big problem about PC optimization for ports lately, it seems.
Yeah, we'll get into that as another topic
because
later.
Because that's something that makes me incredibly upset and mad. But essentially back onto the Xbox though, I think if it ends up being like more than 500, I don't see it succeeding. Because the thing is, video game consoles inherently are affordable ways for people to play games and be able to play games and afford them and play them and like have them. PCs are not cheap.
No,
and not in the slightest. It is. That's why I don't believe in the whole PC elitist argument bullshit, because realistically we're paying more just to have like the option to have slightly more options.
Yeah.
So I recognize that consoles are there for this, just for the guy who fucking works 60 hours and wants to come home and play a little bit of Call of Duty.
And sometimes it's nice to just have a game that's built for a system and you don't have to worry about optimization issues depending on your rig.
And
it just works.
And that's the problem that comes down to it with this is, with this being a computer / console, there's going to be a series of like issues with optimization because you have to make sure your specs are all functioning properly. You got to make sure like that Intel processor inside of that bad boy is decent and blah, blah, blah. And then you combine that with like Epic as well. And I guess Xbox also has their own PC app. So they have to branch out through 3 different stores that they're trying to incorporate into this console and make sure all their products run effectively. And so it just seems like that's a lot on their plate. And you have to make sure in this regard, where you're making this into your next console, it has to be affordable for the casual market. I don't think that Microsoft is going to steal people from the PC gamer side, because they'll look at that and go, oh, it's just a mini computer.
Well, do you think Microsoft will try to lean into it as a complementary piece to your PC?
Now, that might be a different stance on it, and I think they could work potentially better with that. Like I said, I don't even know if this is necessarily the next Xbox console. If this
take
gets
it as a rumor.
Now. If this gets made into the next Xbox console, I think if this is the sole console, then I think this is a mistake.
Yeah, I think as like an accessory or as like an option, maybe I could see something potentially working. But
then it's like you go and grab like a teenager. And you put them down in front of this Xbox console, they're going to see Steam, Epic, and Xbox. They're gonna. So now they all of a sudden have two other markets that they have to look through to inquire about games. So that's already like, if you don't have that like niche there already, like me, I own over 1,000 Steam games, so I inherently have a value with that console. Oh, I can pick this up. I'll get the new Xbox games, and I'll have all my old ones to play whenever I want. Makes sense. But like for new people though, how would that work necessarily? That appeal is just not there. That means they have 3 whole markets they can look through, counting Epic, not counting Origin, Ubisoft, and the other like multiple like shill parasites that want to put themselves on your computer. And it's like, at the end of the day, if this gets made into their next console, it just sounds like it's already going to be really niche is the problem. I don't see the appeal for casuals, which
I feel like Xboxes in general are pretty niche. Like,
they're starting to get there.
I don't know very many people other than like people who like just consider themselves like Xbox fans. Like, I don't know people who have like all 3 systems. I don't know very many anyways.
Especially nowadays where you don't really even need the Xbox anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're putting everything to PC like day one, like the new Gears of War game coming out,
which I'm grateful for.
Yeah, like absolutely, please, thank you. I'm going to buy your games.
Yeah,
like Starfield. I didn't have to buy Starfield. I chose to buy Starfield, and like I wanted to support that. I liked that they did that. You know, I will support a game. Unfortunately, I bought Starfield.
Unfortunately,
I put 50 hours into it. I'm allowed to say that Starfield shit.
You didn't like it, huh?
So can I get into a little bit of spoilers?
No, I'm never gonna play it. So go ahead.
So Starfield has a chat. This is for spoilers for Starfield. If you're playing, sorry, Bacon, Egg, and Megan.
She's a huge Starfield fan. I'll tell you what, her and her 100 hours in Starfield 4.
So when you beat Starfield through the main campaign, it story-wise, it resets your entire universe. And you start off like back from point 1 in like a new universe. So everything's kind of similar, but a little bit different. In theory, that's really cool. I like that notion, like, oh, I'm jumping to a different, like almost like a different universe dimension. Like that is really neat in like the concept of it. But they also have a settlement building side of the game that's very in depth. And if I were to go and build my settlement and leave it on a certain planet and then beat the game and restart it, that settlement's gone.
Yeah. All
those people I got are gone. So it just makes me not want to beat the fucking game. And that's fine. You know, like that combined with the every 10 seconds you need a loading screen just to traverse through your small ship, combined with lackluster gunplay and stuff like that. Starfield's just not that good. It's not all there. The ship combat can literally be cheesed if you make a box ship, by the way. Have you seen that?
No.
So to beat the AI from in Starfield, you would simply just take parts of the ship and then you just make a giant box. And the reason why is because the enemy ships are pre-programmed to aim for the center mass of the ship. And so what happens is, essentially, the AI will just keep continuously shooting the ship and through the center and just keep missing. If you just make a box, it's kind of like a donut.
I can't get this timer to start. Sorry.
I know. I'm watching. Yeah, I know. That's why I just stopped. I was like, oh.
Keep talking.
What happens if you hit start?
There we go.
Oh, there you go. We got a timer now. Now I can stop unrestrictedly yapping. I can be aware of my yapping. But essentially, no, like Starfield it felt very underbaked. And that was like a big problem too, is it just feels like these big RPGs are coming out really underbaked.
Yeah,
which is also why I love Game Pass so much, that I can actually try before I buy.
I've got a big piece that I'm working on for a video where I want to talk about how like games in general have become very bloated, very big, and kind of directionless as far as like where the gameplay is concerned, and a lot of things are just getting bigger, and it's not getting better.
I think that's like the biggest thing. Like I think it's only going to get worse. because graphically, I don't think we can get any better. I think we're almost at the peak where graphics are. And so
spending 2 years just to make sure the pores on fucking Hideo Kojima's face in his cameo in Death Stranding 5 is like really like, we don't need to spend 2 years just making sure all of his pores are accurate.
No, that's how you end up with Shenmue fucking 3. Where you end up with this game that's just been begging too long and like it just looks and feels like shit.
Yeah.
But essentially, what I think is going to end up happening is I think we're only going to see the worlds get bigger, unfortunately, as I think that's kind of a generalized like good pitch to people. Like, imagine a big world. Ooh, big Johnny, big world, big open world.
Think big world. Now think bigger world.
Yeah. And so that was one thing about Final Fantasy 16. Actually, I don't know if you played the new Final Fantasy at all. It plays more like an action game this time around. So if you've ever if you like Devil May Cry or something like that, or Bayonetta, it has like kind of a Bayonetta light. Like I say Bayonetta because that's the one I think you have played. Bayonetta light, like combat combined with like RPG elements. And the big thing I noticed was the world's almost open, but it's not. Like they give you like a field to run around in, but the field is very restricted and actually like level based. The actual Final Fantasy 16 is almost level based practically. And
FF7 remake is sort of like that.
Yeah, like they feel really good actually. Like I think that's kind of like what we need to start having a bit more of a mix of is like explorable hubs with open-ended levels, and I think that's kind of a good sweet spot because I don't know, we have hundreds of Assassin's Creeds that are having wide open worlds where you got to collect 100 feathers for your mom because your dead brother used to collect feathers for birds. That's Assassin's Creed 2, by the way, if you're looking for the reference. And so it's just these games. You're right, it's bloated. These games are far too bloated. There is an economy of time that needs to be recognized where a series of like these dedicated gamers don't have the 60-hour work like weeks that they can put into your open world game to get everything done. Like one I just started recently. I just tried Rise of the Ronin, which is a game from Koei Tecmo that was on PlayStation exclusive only for a little while there. I recently gave that a shot. And it feels kind of needlessly open world. Like one of the collectibles is just picking up and holding 2 cats in like this one section of the map.
Fuck yeah, I love cats.
I mean, I like that too, but come on. Which that game alone, I didn't know going into it because like it looked really neat. I don't know if you've seen anything like Rise of Ronin at all. It looks really neat. You might like it because you like Japan, a lot of like Japan history. It takes place during kind of like the feudal era with Tokugawa. And you just get to explore a large like chunk of Japanese, like Japan, not Japanese, my bad, Japan. I mean, I wouldn't mind exploring some of the Japanese if they're desperate and single.
Okay.
Call me at 260. Anyways, so it's just and that's the worst part is I don't necessarily see us going. I think we'll see indie games and like the smaller games that don't report to people come and like be like more linear and like straightforward and structured. I think we're going to start seeing a bigger problem with like the companies that report to like shareholders and stuff like that who are going to make their games bigger.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that.
Like, would you want your Zelda to go back to kind of more of like the old style where it's a bit more linear?
Yes. I mean, that's definitely a thing, though. Echoes of Wisdom took a step towards that in a very good way. Where
I still haven't played that one. I want to.
Echoes of Wisdom is like. The first dungeon you do is always the first dungeon you do. And then the second and third dungeon, you get a choice on between them. It's like a Link Between Worlds. And then the last few dungeons you can do in whatever order you want.
You mean a Link to the Past?
No, a Link Between Worlds. The 3DS one. Did you forget about that one?
No, that's probably my favorite Zelda still.
Yeah, I fucking love that game.
It is. It's weird how much I do just like that one too. Like, I mean, the Link's Awakening one wasn't really too bad either when they came out with that remake. It's just, I don't know what it was about that, like, Link Between Worlds. It just hit. Like, I thought, like, a lot of the, in fact, a lot of the Zelda games on DS kind of just was, like, really good to me. Like, I liked the Spirit tracks a lot, and I did like the other one.
Phantom Hourglass.
Yeah, because Phantom Hourglass had that Phantom Hourglass had that nice thing where it was a puzzle where you're like, oh, I gotta like stamp this map with something. What do I do?
Oh yeah,
you had to like close your DS. Yeah. And I remember I was stuck on that. I was mad. I was like,
that felt like a Hideo Kojima puzzle.
I was like, why? What is going on here? What do I do? And I was like, my dad was like, hey, can you come over here and help me with something? And I was like, fine, I'll close the DS for now.
Yeah, and then he came back and it was salt.
Yeah, I was like,
what did I do?
Like, it was closing the DS because the blank page was on the bottom of the touch screen.
Fucking speaking of Hideo Kojima puzzles, you ever get pissed off at some of the puzzle design in Metal Gear? Because some of that shit is just like so fucking obtuse, man. Like in MGS1 when they're like, you gotta find Meryl's codec number, and then
Meryl, that is the one I think of too.
The Arms Tech president was like, it's on the back of the box, and then you're like, what does that mean?
I bought my copy used. I have the GameStop box.
It doesn't have the fucking label on it. What does that mean?
Yeah,
I had the disc only for Twin Snake. I did not have the actual box for it for the longest time, so
you were done.
I really didn't know what to do.
But then there's some other really good ones though. If you think about like the Psycho Mantis fight had a really good one where you had like plug the controller ports over to two.
At least regarding that, the Colonel will tell you eventually. Like if you keep calling Colonel, he was like try port 2. But even that feels stupid to me. Like it's just like how am I ever supposed to figure that out without calling the Colonel to like get the answer or look it up, you know? Like I would never think to try that.
I guess clairvoyancy, I guess would be like the word I'm thinking of, or not clairvoyancy, like I can't remember the exact word. It's conveyance, I think, where they just there's like Metal Gear has always had a problem with properly conveying the information you need. Now, back in the day, the reason why they did the codex thing was that was an anti-piracy measure.
Yeah.
So I get why they would have like, the codex is in the back of the box. Because, you would have bought it and it would have had the box. But if you pirated it, then you wouldn't have had the box.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did the same thing with Star Tropics, if you remember what that game
I've never played Star Tropics.
So Star Tropics was...
I know of it, I just never played it.
So Star Tropics has a moment in there where you're supposed to get a letter out of the box, I think, or something like that. And you're supposed to like put water on it. And I think it's supposed to turn into like a code for you to enter the game.
And that's like something physically in your game box.
Yeah, and so if you didn't have that, like if you were to bring up Star Tropics on your NSO right now, I think you can actually like hit your L and R buttons into the menu, and you can actually go and bring up that letter now. But yeah, there was a series of anti-piracy measures, and I think that's why we might have gotten some of the harder puzzles like those a bit more.
Interesting. But anyways, going back to the Xbox thing, you got anything more to say on that, or?
I think if Xbox can't, I think Xbox is going to need to like pair with Steam a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to do it, I think they need to pick Steam. Don't pick Epic, go for Steam. Sorry, like just.
Well, I think they're probably going to try to do both.
Yeah, and I think reasonably you can have both, but I think you should get a direct partnership with Steam, and I think there needs to be some form of like credit for you to be able to like get both. Otherwise, the functionality of having Steam and Epic on your gaming console is only useful for the people who have those consoles outside of it. And it's like a weird reverse play on like Xbox where it's like, all right, we're going to try and get some of the PC gamers back on our side. Maybe some of these people who are using PC Game Pass might see our PC console and then want to go and use it.
Especially because, like the last 3 to 5 years, Xbox has really been leaning in on PC.
Yeah.
More so than their Xboxes.
Which is crazy. I mean, I never thought I'd live to see the day where I can just play Gears of War on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Halo's, I'm not playing Halo on PC. I ain't playing Halo.
You know, like the Master Chief Collection?
I ain't playing Halo in general.
What the fuck?
Halo is dog shit now.
What?
Halo Infinite is dog shit.
Oh, Halo Infinite. We're talking about Halo, the Master Chief Collection. We're talking about your baby Halo 2, your baby Halo 3, your baby Halo Reach, your baby Halo 3 ODST.
And they're not bad. It's just the presentation for the Master Chief Collection isn't exactly what I would want. They take a lot of the old leveling systems from the older games and turn them into battle pass styles.
For the multiplayer, you mean?
Yeah. So for Reach, for instance, Reach used to have a really sick customization store where you would play, and every time you played, you earned credits, and you would save your credits up. And you for me, I skipped 10 levels. I didn't buy any of the basic helmets, and then I was able to get the EOD helmet for $15K, and I popped it in there and grabbed that helmet and bought all the attachments I wanted for it with the credits I earned from playing the game. And it felt solid. It felt good. It was fantastic. And then they took that away and gave us buy this page of the battle pass to be able to continue the next one. And it's all still there. You can grind them out and play them. They didn't go away. But at the same time, I would have rather have that same store function, especially when they first released the Master Chief Collection and had only Reach with it.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't do it, unfortunately. That's the sad part. I think Halo Infinite's bad. They monetized it very poorly. The game modes are shit. The gameplay is shit. I just don't think Halo Infinite's a good game. And I also have a personal grudge with it because when they advertise their skins in their store, they'll have armor recolorings. And what they don't tell you is when you buy an armor recolor, that they do not give you the armor that you're buying the recolor for.
So you need the armor first to buy the recolor.
No, they'll let you buy it still.
But you can't use it if you don't have the armor. Oh.
So I sat there, I was like, oh, hey, that's a really cool, red, white, and blue, samurai color skin for this armor that's in the game. I don't have the armor unlocked because you have to play a special event to get it. You have to grind out 30 matches of a thing called Fiesta Slayer, which I'll explain the problems with that in a second. And when you do that, I bought it. I paid the $10. I was like, yeah, I can get the skin. I get the other stuff that comes with this little bundle. And I go to equip it. You don't have the armor core unlocked to equip this skin. So why was I able to buy it?
Right.
So you actively preyed on me. You actively took money out of my pocket.
It was real money.
Yeah. I spent $10 to get this skin. And rather than giving me the armor that I paid for, I had to go on immediate. There was only 2 days left in the event. I don't know what would have happened if the event would have ended and I didn't have the armor. I don't know if I would have just not been able to equip that skin, or if it was FOMO and I would have just missed out on having that skin entirely that I just paid $10 for.
Right.
There was no clear warning that I wasn't going to get the armor. So after that, I grinded. I was like, fine, I'll play your stupid fucking event. It was called Fiesta Slayer. And what it is every time you die, you come back with new weapons.
Okay.
And it's a free-for-all. You would think it'd be fun. It sounds fun, right?
Yeah.
Not until someone gets a sword and a rocket launcher, and then they just keep the power weapons and just that's it.
And they can't die.
Exactly. And then you're just stuck. You become the jobber for that game, and you had to win 30 of them.
Oh damn.
And that's cool. So I had to play this chance-based game mode where I just potentially won't get a good enough weapon, and then you're not going to give me my armor that I paid $10 for. Fuck Halo Infinite. It's a garbage game and it just deserves to die. Halo is dead.
Rip.
I don't care. They're already talking about remaking Halo 1 again.
Yeah, we talked about that on Pixel Pulse.
So I have to wait 15 years to see a new Halo game. I'm good.
Yeah.
Destiny's out there looking like dog shit still, and I'd rather play Destiny. Sorry, that became a lot more hostile than
I don't have that strong of opinions. I played Halo 1 and Halo 2 last year, and I haven't played a Halo game since, just because of scheduling reasons, because I was going to play them co-op, but
Halo used to be
I've only
really
been
good.
playing the single player, so I have not really even touched the multiplayer, so that's a whole league out of my...
the single player, single player's fine.
Yeah.
Like Halo Infinite campaign, pretty good. They give you a grappling hook. You can like fly around and shit and do some fun stuff. I enjoyed that portion. I just didn't enjoy them taking $10 from me and not giving me my product that I paid for.
Right. No, that's understandable.
I was like, oh, so that means I don't want to play your game ever again.
Hey, speaking of Halo Infinite, which was a game that was released on Xbox, which is a console that produces games for the PC, why don't we talk about PC optimization on things before we get to my topic? We'll slap your two topics together back to back.
I will do one more thing about the Xbox and I'll move on from it.
Okay.
It's gone now.
Never mind. Okay. Let's talk about PC optimization.
No. So one of the cool things though about the new console, so I think this is one of the positives you can look at, is with it having integrated Steam support, that means any PlayStation exclusive that goes to Steam will come to the Xbox now.
That specific Xbox that supports...
that has like the built-in windows and stuff like that. So Spider-Man 2 just came out on the Steam recently. So
the Steam.
And with that being on the Steam, there you go. Like that's Spider-Man 2 on the Xbox, realistically, once that happens. Like, and Spider-Man 1 runs great on PC. I haven't tried Spider-Man 2 yet. I imagine it's going to be good. I'm probably not going to buy it. I might illegally acquire it in some way or form.
But very legally. It's going to be very legal.
I mean, I bought the console for $300. I bought the big boy edition. I've got the Spider-Man 2 PlayStation. Do you need more of my money, Sony?
Yes, the answer is always yes. Sony does not have enough money. They don't have enough yachts. They don't have enough anything. They need more money. They need to make Concord 2.
We should just pirate Concord.
I don't think you can.
We should pirate Concord and then
Concord, log into the game and not get any further because the servers are dead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We make our own private Concord servers.
I mean, I'm sure you probably could somehow.
We'll call it Concord Underground. Undercord.
The overcord.
It will like make custom fan skins. We'll make the fucking one that was wearing the weird marshmallow looking blue coat in the sands.
No.
And every time he shoots. So we're gonna go ahead and lead into my next topic. Sorry, I kind of rambled a little bit. I had some shit to say.
She's got shit on his mind.
It's crazy. It's interesting that we're making this show work with just two of us.
Yeah.
Well, the way we're gonna break this down is first hour is mine, second hour is gonna be Gabe's. So I'll hurry up and we'll get on to Gabe's hour. So my next topic I wanted to bring up though was, have you noticed the distinct like low quality PC ports that we keep getting of games these days?
Yes. Okay. On to my next topic.
Okay. Yeah,
no, I'm joking. Keep going.
I'm waiting. No,
keep going. No.
So I don't know what's been going on in like game developers' heads or anything like that, because there's 3 big examples I can think of right now that just had like PC ports dropped, and all 3 of them are kind of just not doing hot right now. So the big one I think most people are kind of like a little bit like about is this one isn't necessarily a PC optimization port because it released all same day, but Monster Hunter Wilds is apparently running really poorly for people on PC.
Monster Hunter Wilds might as well be considered a PS5 Pro exclusive from what I've been told because of how badly it runs on everything else.
See, like, and that's crazy to think about, because if it's running this poorly, why the hell are they charging $70 for it?
Maybe the investment of their time. I don't know.
There needs to start being some level of like quality, like assurance if you're gonna want the full priced games.
What's crazy is that like on paper, most like PCs are technically more powerful than a PS5. Yet, even like, unless you are running the highest tier PCs, you are going to struggle running this game.
Well, like for instance, for me, like my computer is definitely better than a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
I can run. Originally, I was running Final Fantasy 16 on Ultra. I had the highest settings on there. I was getting like 60 frames. It was looking good. But now, for some reason, due to the optimization, there's 3 separate problems that people encounter when playing Final Fantasy 16 on PC. There is an optimization issue when it comes to machines that are running AMD processors with an NVIDIA graphics card. Hi, that's me. There is also a Razer Synapse issue. You know what Razer Synapse is?
No.
So Razer has a program called Synapse where it controls the RGB on all their devices.
Okay.
If you don't have that turned on while playing Final Fantasy 16, and so the way they do it is you swap between your summons and they give you different combos and styles and stuff like that to do new moves with.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have that enabled and you swap your summon around, your frames will just eventually die. You have like 10 minutes, your game starts hard killing itself because it's trying to communicate with Razer Synapse to swap the controller on your Razer gear or color on your Razer gear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, for some reason, that's there. That's dog shit. And then another one is with the NVIDIA and AMD processor like combination, most games recommend using DLSS, which is like the NVIDIA like graphics enhancement program that's inside each of the cards.
Allegedly coming to Switch 2, by the way.
Yeah, which I had to use. Instead, I had to swap to the AMD FSR3, which is slightly more demanding and like shittier, and that made the game work temporarily. And I was like, all right, cool, we're back in action. I was excited, Gabe. I was excited to play this. If I had played Final Fantasy 16 when like back when it first came out, that would have been my game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been my game of the year now if it wasn't for what I'm about to talk about. Now I came back to it, tried to play it again, and it's doing the same problems again, but I have all my settings set up properly for it. And now it's just not wanting to work. It's not wanting to work. Why is it that this game that they decided to port to PC can't function?
Square in general seems to have this problem because I played the FF7 remake on PC.
Were those bad as well?
I have not played Remake Part 2 yet, but I played Remake Part 1. Melvin, pre-rendered cutscenes had frame drops. Pre-rendered cutscenes had frame drops. I didn't even know about that because Intergrade came out to Epic first. I never even tried it. Yeah. At least on Steam, I had a lot of problems. I had to download mods that fixed some, but not all of the frame drops. And like the game during gameplay mostly ran fine. There was like in my first part in stream number 1 of FF7 Remake, I did have this one moment where the lighting bugged out. Can you refresh the chat or see if it's not going down? No, I think it's just a slow chat day. No, because I just had someone say something apparently in chat and didn't show up for us. No, it's Zeno said he said something in chat. I don't see anything here. Huh. Maybe not then. I mean, I can because he told me he said do gay stuff in our chat. No, I've seen it on our VTube Studios opening. Get out of here. I refreshed it. See if this says anything. I mean, I don't mind if the chat's slow either. Like I said, I just I checked my phone. He's like, I said do gay shit, and you guys should kiss now on the stream. And I was like, well. Thank you. Anyways. So yeah, FF7 Remake. There was one moment in part 1 of my stream where the lighting bugged the fuck out. And the screen went all white. And you're in trouble. Sorry, Megan. You're dead. The screen went all white and I couldn't see anything. I had to physically reboot the entire game just to get it to work. Sorry, just what you did with your hair. You gave yourself like the Jimmy Neutron curl in your fucking hair. Sorry. So that
That's sad. Like these are great games that I think have some really good quality behind them, but the sheer fact that Final Fantasy 16 broke like this for me, like removed the game from being my game of the year for me to just being unplayable now, and I have zero interest in it. It breaks my fucking heart because I pumped a lot of hours into it. I mean, I was halfway to the level cap. The level cap's 100 with the DLC. I was at 50. I was really feeling it.
Oh yeah, really feeling it.
And I don't know what it was. It was like that good combination of solid action gameplay combined with the RPG elements. But then it's like I can't play the game if combat is like. Then the first weird problem I had with it was the game would run fine. I'd get like 120 frames outside of combat, and then as soon as I touched combat, that's when I would go down to 10 and just run in slow motion. But then I noticed in the background, other people and stuff were still moving at full speed.
Yeah, it's been weird for me because, like, on one hand, I'm getting sick of games, of buying games on Switch, because all I really have is a Switch and PC. I don't have any other consoles at the moment. So
the dusty PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I got a dust collected PS4 and a Wii U and some older consoles there. But like, as for like modern shit, like if I want to play new games, it mostly comes down to, is it coming to Switch or is it coming to PC? And if not, then I can't play them. But with regards to Switch ports, a lot of those just look like blurry, crusty assholes, and I really don't want to play a lot of third-party games on Switch anymore. I'm at my limit where even first-party Switch games are starting to become hard to play.
The Switch was good in 2017, but unfortunately, we're kind of 10 years later.
Yeah, well, 7, but still, or 8. No, actually,
we're going. Yeah. I mean, you know what I meant. Yeah. I'm just rounding up realistically.
Weird. It actually has been 8 years as of a couple weeks ago, which is crazy. But regardless, so I've been like, okay, well, I can't really play games on my Switch anymore, so let's get them on PC. But now a lot of PC ports are also just coming out like I guess if I had the highest rig possible, it would be a better experience, yes, but honestly, it's running just as poorly, and like, especially if I'm going to stream it, I have to really crank my settings down just to stream it.
So like for me, like I have a Ryzen 5 processor, which is it's almost top of the line, but I have a 4060 as my graphics card, which is up there.
I've got an i9 with a 3080.
Yeah, so in fact, arguably, you probably have better specs than I do in the long run. But like, we should be able to run these PlayStation games on high and be able to stream them just fine. Like, I don't understand. I mean, like, even like Elden Ring came out having like optimization issues with PC a little bit.
Was that fixed?
Elden Ring runs. Elden Ring has always ran and worked like fine. It's just sometimes, like back when it first came out, there'd be some of the slower, like the Great Plateau and like the Switch, where like there's a lot of effects loading in one area, it'll slow down. Now it runs perfectly. Elden Ring is a masterpiece. You should play Elden Ring. But it's just, so it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me want to play these PlayStation games on the actual PlayStation console, because if my PC can't run fucking Final Fantasy 16, why the hell would I want to play fucking Final Fantasy 16 on a PlayStation 5 with shittier graphics and lower frame rates?
Because
did I say 15? I'm at 16. My bad.
I didn't even hear, honestly. No, the reason why you want to do it is because all you wanted was it was to come to PC. Clearly, according to Sony, that you don't actually want to play it. You just want to see it on the PC.
Yeah, Cleo.
Hey, don't be chewing those cables, Cleo. I need to put that cover back.
Yeah, it's uncalled for. It's unsettling that they keep releasing these products. It means there's no quality. Like, especially like if you're releasing your game onto a different system after it's already been out. I think that's the biggest problem. You're telling me that you're spending all this time porting this game over, and you're not going to properly take care of it when you're porting it?
Yeah.
I can cut Monster Hunter some slack. I can cut Monster Hunter some fucking slack because Monster Hunter is a massive game. I don't even think Worlds ran that well when it came out. So like, I mean, and like they're also working with this new engine, their RE engine that they're doing. That's what Dragon's Dogma 2 was. Dragon's Dogma 2 was also had a lot of like optimization issues, but the problem
Was it fixed down the road?
It's sort of fixed now. The reason why Dragon's Dogma had performance issues was it was loading every single NPC in the game all at once onto your hard drive. And so now they kind of have it set up to where if you're not near the NPC, it won't load them in.
Right.
And so it's helping with performance. Yeah. But like, say you were to go into a town, that was it. Everyone was loaded. Like I love Dragon's Dogma 2 though. It was fun. It makes me sad. I think it puts a bigger barrier. It makes it's uncalled for when like you're spending a year. If you need more time to put this PC port out, I think PC gamers would rather see you put a acceptable port out first.
Hell, even games like Minecraft require things like Optifine in order to run well. Like Minecraft doesn't really focus on like PC performance, and I still get frame drops in Minecraft when I stream that game. Same with Fortnite. Like Fortnite is like one of the biggest games ever. Runs smooth as butter on consoles that aren't the Switch. And
put it on the Switch now.
Yeah, put it on the Switch now. It looks
especially because Fortnite keeps updating.
Yeah,
Fortnite when the Switch released is not the same Fortnite it is now.
It is better on Switch than it was at launch, but it's still not good. But regardless to say, when I've streamed Fortnite recently within the last 3 months, and when I did, I cranked my settings to the lowest and still had frame drop issues. And I've got an i9 in that bitch, so it shouldn't be struggling on processor power. I know it's hungry for it, but like Epic just does not focus at all on optimization, and I feel like this is just industry trend for PC. I get that like it's impossible to optimize for every possible configuration of rig out there. That makes sense. And so that's where a lot of it can come from. But like, from what I'm understanding is like only the top of the top line are the ones that are really being optimized for, and everything else is just being left behind. And not everyone can keep up with having the best specs in their PC.
Which it's interesting you're having issues playing Fortnite.
Like when I'm not streaming it, it's fine.
See, okay, that's the difference. I haven't even tried streaming Fortnite and playing it yet.
Yeah, when I'm not streaming, it's
streaming
fine.
to Discord. I do stream with the Discord every once in a while, but that doesn't count. But it's like, or like a big thing with a Fortnite is every time you update the game, it resets all of your graphics settings to the highest settings possible.
Yeah,
or at least for me, it does, because it recognizes that I have the graphics card and stuff for it. And so what'll happen is every time I update the game and I go to play a new round, I will load in late because it puts all my stuff on ultra.
I would say that it's maybe not entirely fair to expect the game to be able to run and be streamed at the same time. But in the case of Fortnite, that game got its popularity from streaming, arguably.
Exactly.
So the fact that streaming isn't really being accounted for in the optimization is what I'm like I can get over myself. I'm not that upset about it, but like it's just kind of baffling to me.
I mean, it would anyone realistically, because this is a game meant to run on Switch, and you can't even.
I mean, it will work technically speaking on PC. It's just it has below desirable frame rates, inconsistent frame rates at that, and I already had the settings on like the lowest it'll go.
And that just won't help when you're playing a competitive shooter.
Yeah. No.
So I think it's just sad to see the optimization's not taken more seriously in gaming. And I think we can kind of just wrap it on that, unfortunately. It's just one of those bittersweet things where you love it when you see it happen properly. Like Spider-Man on PC, I think came out working just fine.
What's the best optimized game that blew you away with how well optimized it was?
Are we talking console to direct PC port?
Sure. Just like, holy shit, this was incredible. This was worth getting the game on PC.
Any of like the shooting like exclusives usually tend to do it.
Like
Halo, remarkably.
Yeah.
Halo was really good when it came to PC, like optimized. Why? play. Like Reach ran really well. Like Halo 2 and 1 runs really well for me. Like I'm trying to think of like good optimizations. That's the thing. Like you don't think about the ones that are optimized good.
Yeah, only the bad stuff sticks out in your mind.
Like GTA 5 came out really good on PC. Actually, like that turned out really well.
Didn't they do like an enhanced version a couple years ago?
They just came out with an enhanced version like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, a couple weeks ago. Okay.
So the enhanced versions for like PlayStation 5.
Not on PC?
So yeah, so it did come to PC. So the way it works is there's 3 versions of GTA 5. There's the original ones that came out with 360 and PS4. There's the HD one, they call them, like the high definition universe. The high definition universe, or the next one up was for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation or Xbox One. And that was the one they released to PC. That added first-person mode, it added increased resolution capabilities, and then a bunch of new dialogue in the game as well.
And then there was the secret third option in between the second and real third option. The secret third option, which was called Lego City Undercover, that when that came to PC, oh boy, GTA 5 really, really just stood out.
Yeah, a Dead Rising Chop 2 drop. But then now with this enhanced version that came out now, in all intents and purposes, this is the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X versions of GTA 5 coming to PC, and they upgraded everyone for free if you had it already.
Okay, that's nice.
So I mean, I have it installed. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if it's any better. Red Dead 2 was the other one that was really good when it came to PC. So Rockstar usually does a really solid job on porting PC games over.
Didn't Red Dead 1 kind of suffer when it came to PC?
I haven't really tried it when it first came out. But when I tried it recently, it is the best way to play Red Dead 1.
Okay, never mind then.
So like Rockstar usually does a really good job, and that's why I'm not necessarily too shitty about GTA 6 doing their shit again where they wait a year to come back out with PC for copies. All right, whatever, as long as it runs.
Please just make it actually run.
And that'll be that's how I end the segment on it. It's just please make them run.
Yeah. Make them run or I'm going to run away.
The Gears games are also really well optimized. A lot of the Xbox ones are really good optimized ones too. So Gabe.
That's my name. Hello.
I know you're excited for it. I know you've been jonesing to talk about it.
We're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming out. Oh, wait, what's the one that... Assassin's Creed... It's coming out Thursday. What's it called? March 20th is a very important day for Assassin's Creed fans. What is the name of that game? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it actually coming out on the 20th?
Yeah, it's coming out.
I thought they delayed it again.
Did they delay it again? Let
me look at it and see if Shadows is coming out on the 20th.
Okay. Yeah, it's coming out.
I wasn't going to tell you because I was going to try and let it get forgotten, but...
Yeah, it's coming out on the most important day. There's no other video games coming out that day. None whatsoever.
Oh my god, it is coming out on the 20th.
My family misses me. They want to see me again. But unfortunately, Assassin's Creed Shadows and Xenoblade Chronicles X comes out on March 20th, 2025, and I will never be seen by the public ever again. You doing all okay over there? You look like you're having a stroke.
I just thought it was... I thought it wasn't going to come out later. I can't believe they delayed it to compete against Xenoblade X.
The thing is it'll probably do better than Xenoblade X, truthfully, but
I hope Xenoblade X wins this race because God, do I hate Assassin's Creed Shadows. Recently, they just decided to post a bunch of their premium supporter stuff, and you can get Chinese dragons.
In a game about Japan.
Yep.
Very good. Yep. Very good. We like that.
Apparently, there might be... they might get banned from China based on the depiction of dragons. Because they gave the dragons 5 toes.
And that's,
I guess, wrong.
Not kosher.
I guess so. I don't know. All I know is
I don't know much about Chinese.
All I
culture.
know is they slapped they said, "Oh, that's Asian," and they slapped it into this feudal Japan. I don't know. I don't necessarily care anymore. I don't want anything to do with the game. The game seems disinteresting. Like, if you want an open world samurai game, there's Ghost of Sushi. There's the new Ghost of Sushi that's coming out soon, Ghost of Yokai or whatever, Yotei. And then Rise of Ronin plays like Elden Ring mixed with samurais, and Sekiro, if you guys want to try that.
There's a samurai. You could play as a samurai in Fire Emblem Warriors for the new 3DS.
No. Don't mention that game ever again.
No. What I would
Actually,
obviously
the 3DS version was good.
No, it wasn't. You didn't even play it. No. Okay, we're moving on.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't want to play either versions of that fucking game.
True, that game was
game was bad, but the second Fire Emblem Warriors though was remarkably good.
It was. You know what else is good?
Xenoblade X.
Xenoblade X.
So Gabe, can you please go ahead and tell me what they are adding to this instead of this remake?
They're making Tatsu into God, and then Tatsu will envelop the world, and then he becomes the best character ever.
Is Tatsu the main character?
No, Tatsu is the little shitbag Nopon that follows around the party in Xenoblade X, and everyone makes jokes about eating him, and that's his whole character. No, okay, so Xenoblade...
This sounds like some Final Fantasy PlayStation 2 era joke.
So, the Xenoblade Fire Fantasy is the game on the Switch. That was a game that was on the Wii U. Did you know that?
Yes, actually, I did know it was on the Wii U, but I don't know exactly when it came out, and I was remarkably taken aback by
December 4th, 2015. It was released in North America. Look it up. I'm correct. And let me tell you what, this game...
what he finds important.
This game redefined what was something that I have played before. So, I'm not going to say redefined gaming because that's not true because no one played the game, but it redefined the games that I have played. It was the second Xenoblade game I played.
Yeah, because I remember for years it was just Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii, and then they came.
And the game Xenoblade 1 did not sell all that well, all things considered. It sold okay, and then
they dropped it for the 3DS.
No, they dropped it for the 3DS after Xenoblade X.
Did they? I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, it was Xenoblade X. I think it came out on 3DS in 2016. I want to say
you might be right. You might be right because I know I was playing it when we went to do the Switch event.
But regardless, so Xenoblade X is a game where you make your own character, very original concept. And it's good. That's it. That's all you need to know.
So
what was the question? You asked me a question and then I forgot.
I was asking about who the character was. You already said this. He was a little pom-pom.
Oh, Nopon. Yeah, Tatsu. Tatsu's a guy.
I guess my question here is when you were playing it when it came out on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Did you play MMOs before that at all in any way?
I wouldn't call Xenoblade X an MMO. It does have a multiplayer mode. And like, arguably, it had its focus in the Wii U game because a lot of rare materials that you need to get like the best armor was locked behind doing the multiplayer, but that's been changed in the Switch version. So the big thing about Xenoblade... the Switch
version sounds like you can go a lot of it in solo if you wanted to. Now.
Yeah. So the Switch version of Xenoblade X is definitely, it's living up to its name and when it says Definitive Edition in the sense of this is there's no real reason to play the Wii U version outside of nostalgia. They've updated the very strange looking character designs, which there is like an in-universe reason why they look so weird in game, but I like the new character designs better. So there's new character designs. There's legible font. In the original game, they used this really shitty font that was like sci-fi font, and it looks like cool, you know? It's like you're on an alien planet, so they got to use cool fonts. But the font that they chose was like goddamn illegible, and in every fucking text used it. So like especially when you're playing on the gamepad screen on Xenoblade X, where the screen was 480p and like 7 inches.
I'm looking it up right now, just so I can look and see.
It was not very legible. Now they use, for the subtitles, they use the same font as Xenoblade 1 Definitive Edition, which is a weird choice because it's kind of a little unfitting there. But the rest of the menu text is very legible and like bold. So I'm fucking thank God for that. Basically, Xenoblade X, for the longest time after Xenoblade 2 and 3 came out, was kind of considered like the black sheep of the franchise because it's so far removed from what Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3 are, where those games are very, very focused on their story. Xenoblade X's story is just kind of like, okay, it's more focused around its gameplay than anything. So it's got a massive fucking open world that takes like several hours to cross by foot, which kind of gets back into the whole like games are too big. But like this game walked so Breath of the Wild could run.
I think I found it finally. Sorry.
Did you? Can you read what that text says? How's that text? Oh, Cleo's here too, by the way. The Yapper's here.
Does this look like the game box?
Yeah, that font. Now imagine that
I think
on a
that's
Wii U gamepad, and maybe
that's the only way you could read it is on the gamepad.
no,
Oh.
but as an option, imagine trying to read that on the gamepad.
Yeah, from like. Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, it
I
was
think that's Futura, by the way, or Futura.
for the font.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Regardless,
Oh God, I hope I'm not right. You know how like, please don't make me right.
Xenoblade X had a lot of
Does this look like your Xenoblade font?
not quite, no.
Good, we're good. That means I'm not that much of a loser.
He knows fonts off the top of his head. No, yeah, the original game had a lot of problems.
And apparently, like, see, what I've always heard about it was that it also had like the massive and like open world bosses that like took forever too, like the time commitments.
There's two bosses in the game. In regards to what is there for the multiplayer, there were two raid bosses. I think they call them Nemesis battles. There's a Telethia, which is a Xenoblade 1 reference. Which is weird because it's not actually related to Xenoblade 1, but there's just a Telethia in the game, okay? And then there's another thing called like Yggdrasil 0, which has like 80 health bars, and every time you kill a health bar, a new one shows up, and then it's funny, and it takes like several hours to beat. But the idea of the Nemesis battles was you join a squad online, and you fight it, and then whoever deals the most amount of damage towards it, by the time the event ends, you get like more and more rewards depending on how many health bars you're clearing off of it. It's not necessarily meant to be something that you kill, but more something you just work towards together with everyone in the squad to earn rewards together with the squad.
Do you know if the people that actually managed to be there for when it dies, did they get anything extra?
I don't know. I've never actually done the Nemesis. That's funny part about my experience with Xenoblade X is one of the biggest reasons I'm excited for the game as a lifelong,
Xenoblader.
He's
a blader,
I have
boys.
two Monatos sitting over there in the corner.
Yeah, we're gonna fight with those later.
Or a sword fight.
Do I get the little one, or do you get the little one?
Size doesn't matter, Melvin. It's about the power
Do
within.
you get the Xenoblade 1 Monato, or do you get the Xenoblade 3 Monato?
They're both Xenoblade 1. There's just Xenoblade 1 Monatos. They're just different sizes.
Both wieners.
I don't know. For me, yeah, I never really got to play the multiplayer. I also barely did any of the side quests. So Xenoblade X
is about to be a game where you get to come in and actually experience the rest of the game.
I when I first played the game, I very much beelined the main story, and there's a lot of cool things in X as far as its world design is concerned. Like Monolith, the devs are gods at making open world
Monolith
games.
Soft.
Yeah, and
not Monolith.
Monolith Soft, Xenoblade devs, they are gods at making open world type areas. Like I wouldn't necessarily call Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3 open world games, but Xenoblade X is fully open world.
I could say
in the sense of you can go to any continent in the world whenever you want. Even in the opening tutorial segment, you can go to the last continent. You're gonna get your shit kicked in, but you can go there.
3 kind of had a little bit more of an open area for you to run around in.
It did, but it was still linear. Like you only like you were. As you went around the loop that is the world of Xenoblade 3, the story progresses. In Xenoblade X, there are 5 continents. It's quite literally, you go to this uncharted alien planet called Mira.
Stuck on an alien planet.
Yeah. And you fight monsters while there are lyrics to the songs, and they talk about being stuck on a distant planet. And there's a song that plays every time you go in the sky.
I cried so hard and come so dead.
Yeah, that he talked about coming. He never stops coming in the song. It's kind of great, actually. He just won't stop coming.
And he won't stop coming anymore.
Yeah.
No, we're joking too much about it, but I guess let me ask you some questions then as someone who had never played this. I do have some mild interest. I remember watching you play it when we were kids because I tried to listen whenever you were excited and showing me Xenoblade
I need
X.
people to yap about this series with. If anyone would like to be a voluntary Xenoblade, just like I yap to you, you don't even have to say anything back.
You're welcome to do that to me. I have brothers that do that for their own properties.
Okay.
Like my younger brother particularly will rage about Sonic and Breath of the Wild, not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom right now. He hates Tears of the Kingdom. He's so mixed on Tears of the Kingdom. He's like, they do nothing. They do nothing with it. There's no story to it. It sucks. It eats beans. And
I like beans.
And he was just mad about it. He was like, I didn't like that. I didn't like it. He didn't like it. My older brother, on the other hand, well, he will yap about Final. He used to yap about Final Fantasy all the time. My older brother. I think my older brother lost the will to live once Final Fantasy 15 actually came out finally. Because back then, I don't know if you knew the story about Final Fantasy 15. It used to be called Versus 13. They were supposed to release Final Fantasy 15 with 13, and it was supposed to be a whole other side game that took place in the same world.
No, the only FF game I've played is 7. And 7 remake.
I think there's a few of them.
The original and the remake.
I think you would like 9.
I've been told that. I've been told I might like 8. And I've been told I might like 6.
I don't think I can recommend 8 to people. 6 is...
But I play Kingdom Hearts. I know who Squall is. He says whatever.
The best part about 8 is the card game.
I like cards.
You can, if you get good enough...
Balacho.
So if you get good enough in the card game in 8, you can pretty much get endgame magic within like the first few minutes.
Epic. Can't wait.
Easy to grind it out. It's just not that good. I don't like 8 that much. 6, on the other hand, 6 is the one that caught my interest a little bit. It's like the last like Nintendo Final Fantasy. 6 might be worth a time for nostalgia base, like purposes. Not nostalgia base, but like to understand a piece of history. I guess
I've thought about playing 6.
So I guess for me was Xenoblade X. How does like classes work? How does building your character work and stuff like that?
Yeah, so that was something that I totally forgot was a thing in Xenoblade X. In other Xenoblade games, you know, for example, Shulk, he has one role. He does
Shulk is kind of like a
he's a glass cannon, and he can also do some healing stuff, but like he has a definitive role in the game.
I remember him like distinctly being the only one with like heals for like a good chunk of the game until you get like your actual healer.
Yeah. In Xenoblade X, you have a custom character that you can put in any role, but also you can change anyone's role into anything whenever you want.
Oh, so if I didn't want to keep being that character with that like same role, I can change his role out.
Yeah. So I don't fully remember how it all works, but
because it's like a Final Fantasy job system.
Sort of. You start at the think of it more like without the master seals, think of it like Fire Emblem, where you start out at like a base, like low tier rank of a certain like sword fighter, for example, right?
Okay,
and then you rank yourself up, and then eventually you get a higher tier like thing that gives you new weapons, new arts.
And then I can choose the what do you keep any like sort of stat? Like, do those levels and those classes come with like permanent stat buffs?
I think when you switch into them, it will change your stats around. So if you so for example, if you get to, I don't fully remember how it works, as I've only played the game once, but as I recall, if you go into let's just say sword fighter level 2, whatever the hell that was called, and then you switch to like medic gunner level 2.
Medic gunner?
Yeah, that's a thing. Well, actually, there's no healer. Actually, fun fact about Xenoblade X: there's 0 healers in the entire game. The whole game, all your healing is based on just performing well in battle, and then you get healed automatically. And if you fail the QTEs, then you don't get the healing. There's also things called like they're called like battle cries or whatever, where someone will like call out and say that they need help, and then there'll be like a text box on screen, and if you do like a move that shares the same color as the text box, you get a heal from that, and both characters get healed from it.
Okay, so that makes sense then. So you just pair yourself up with who you're with at the time,
yeah,
and then you get, I guess what I was more so trying to like wonder into is say like, oh, I choose swordsman and I get my swordsman class to like level 15. Are there any like permanent stat buffs that would come with that?
I mean, you have a level up system that in the original Wii U game capped out at 60. In the Switch version,
100, right?
We don't know what the level cap is, but we do know it goes more than the original game because we've seen some footage of it. So that's another thing that the Switch version is doing, is the original game ended on a cliffhanger, a sequel bait cliffhanger, where
do you think the speculation here is that then if the Switch version is not going to have the sequel bait cliffhanger?
Well, it's already been confirmed. They've said in
they made an ending?
They've said in trailers that they're continuing the story of the game, because the game literally ends on, hey, we didn't finish this game, so you don't get to know what's actually going on here. Without going into spoilers.
So Xenoblade X sounds like it's a complete game now. Yeah.
Without going into spoilers, the original game ended on a very famous line where Elma, arguably the more main character, because she's like the main party member, she's the face. She's the face, and she's the voice. Yeah, and she's not the NPC, the player character, she's not the player character. She's the main character. Otherwise,
kind of like in Final Fantasy X, you would think Tidus is the main character when it's actually Yuna.
Is it?
Yes, actually, Yuna is the main character of Final Fantasy X. I
didn't know that. I never played 10.
That one might actually be the one you should play.
Maybe. All I know about 10 is
yeah, the context behind that scene is
I'm fully aware. Yeah,
he's trying to help her cope with dying.
Yeah, and he doesn't know how to do it, so he's awkward. Yeah,
because he also has to die soon too.
Yeah,
because you realize midway through about some shit happens, but you should probably play Final Fantasy X. I know that one is mostly considered the best one of all time, I think, by a lot of people.
I'll consider it.
It's really good. I think you would enjoy it. They have like a neat kind of like trigger like party swap system and stuff like that. But essentially, that was like the big plot line there was you recognize about halfway through that you're not the main character. Yuna is, because you sit outside waiting for her to go do the temples.
Right.
Because you're helping Yuna get strong enough to fight the world-ending boss.
Yeah.
But in this regard, that makes sense that you're not the face, because you're obviously you're the self-insert character.
Yeah, the player character is just kind of, and this is something that Xenoblade X did really well, was in a lot of RPGs you kind of become like the world-saving hero, right? But in Xenoblade X, and I kind of really like this about the game, is you're just another rank in the military, like sort of, and like you feel that like Elma is higher up, but even she's not like the commander of the army or whatever. She's just like your lieutenant.
She's a squad leader.
And like she's important to the story, of course, but like you feel like you're just another guy helping out this greater organization, which is a unique feeling that I really like about the game.
That kind of piques my interest, actually.
Yeah. You're not really treated as like the hero. You're just another guy helping out.
It's weird that the more we're talking about this, the more I think I'm becoming more interested in Xenoblade X than I am in normal Xenoblade.
It's definitely a more gameplay focused experience. So the story takes a bit of a backseat because in the original it wasn't finished. I don't know how the new story wraps up. Maybe it'll finally be good, but like, the combat is definitely one of its strongest parts. At chapter 6, you gain access to what's called the Skell, which is the giant mech that I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah, I remember that from.
And the Skell is overpowered, and after you get the Skell, there's no reason to do any on-foot combat unless you're trying to be like super optimized and have like the best build in the game where you can just solo the game without a Skell, and that's funny because you can kill like giant dinosaurs all on your own. But the Skell is super cool, and that comes in halfway through the game. And then a few chapters later, the Skell gains the ability to fly.
That's just going to be your main way of transporting at that point then.
Before you get the flight module, the Skell basically quadruples your movement speed because it's basically also a car. It can transform from a walking mech to a transformer car, and it drives around really fast. And when you have the flight module, by the way, if you want to talk about game size and world size,
I think that was distinctly what I remember Baby Gabe telling me all those years ago, was because you had the Skell, and I think you're like, look at this.
Yeah.
And it made me interested, but at the same time, I wasn't using my Wii U as much.
Flying from corner to corner in the world of Mira, which is, mind you, like 10 times faster than doing it on foot. Flying from one end of the map to the other takes 43 minutes.
Jeez.
It is, a lot of it is ocean, but
ocean.
Yeah. A lot of it is ocean, but it is a massive fucking game. It puts games like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild to shame. Like, it's bigger than those games for sure. And this was done on the Wii U. And might I add, doesn't have frame rate issues.
Real quick.
Yeah,
compare the size.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking massive.
Hopefully, it still doesn't have frame issues when it comes to the Switch. Hopefully, it keeps that.
The Switch version, from what I've seen, runs better. There were some optimization weird things with the original game. You want to know something kind of wacky tobacco, Melvin?
What's up?
The original Wii U game file size was 22 gigabytes. Before adding the DLC that would make the game run better, it was 22 gigabytes.
Is the Switch version smaller, more compact?
The Switch version with there's no need for downloading optimization patches, is 13 gigabytes.
That's wild, especially considering they might have added more to the game.
They added a lot more to the game. And I'm as happy as a pig in shit right now. Are you looking at a map right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to find one real quick. I was hoping to see.
Look up Xenoblade X Planet Mira map.
I was gonna see. I was trying to look up a comparison, so I could with a game I knew in there. Maybe
Skyrim. That's usually a common one.
That was the one I was trying to look for and see. That is a fucking huge map. This one has dashes and stuff on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I can see how you this is the map, right?
Yeah.
I can absolutely see how that would have a lot more of the water. I highly recommend chat looking up Xenoblade X's map as well. It kind of has like an anchor shape to it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat.
I never noticed that before. It's kind of funny because the plot of the game is your ship, the White Whale, or in Japan it was known as the Moby Dick, crashes down on.
Why wasn't it called the Moby Dick for us?
Because we can't handle the word dick. It's too funny. We don't like funny. Ha 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 ha! Anyways,
that's so fucking mind blowing to me because I
believe it was actually it's a Japanese translation thing where it was technically called the like the words white whale and Moby Dick in Japanese are the same words.
Oh, so, I can see that.
So it was either a mistranslation that it's called the white whale in the US,
or they just didn't want to call it Moby Dick,
or it was called the white whale in Japan, and that's just how they chose to translate it.
Hey, that would work. That's so crazy to me, though. Like that sounds like a good ass reference. Like that they just didn't like catch on, like a localization wise. If it's that way. So you said that classes are all interchangeable and swappable. What was the class that you played the most when you were playing Xenoblade X? And do you think you're going to try new classes, or do you think you're going to pick that one back up and go again?
I couldn't tell you what exactly I did as far as optimizing the characters. I know I barely fucked with it, but there's Xenoblade X. If you know what you're doing with it. Like I said, the squad is 4 party members instead of the typical 3 in Xenoblade X. But if you know what you're doing, you can solo the game without a skell, and it's funny as fuck. I did not know how to optimize my builds, though, so I did very basic, like, sword fighter. A nice thing about Xenoblade X that other Xenoblades don't do is each character gets 2 weapons. So you switch between sword fighter and then a range, or like you have like a melee and then a ranged. So
you're just sitting there with a little revolver trying to fight. You can have sized dinosaur.
You can have like dual pistols. You can have like a Gatling gun. You can have like a fucking like rocket launcher. I think there's a lot of different options, and I'm very, very excited. Another thing,
I'm gonna miss you.
Yeah, my family will be like, if you find a like a missing persons report, don't follow up on it. It's fine. I'll be good.
You better probably notify the local police station.
Don't notify them.
No. I mean, you need to call them.
No, I'm telling you, it's fine. Don't find me.
Call them on the non-emergency line. Be like, hey, ignore any calls that are coming for me. I'm gonna be gone for
let them suffer. That's fine. But just like I'll be fine. I'm good. You heard it here first.
I'm sure. Yeah. All your personal.
I'll be fine unless the game turns out to be really bad. In which case,
that'll hurt him even more. I was about to say, what if you just hate it? What are you gonna do if you just hate Xenoblade X?
I mean, I don't think I'm gonna hate it because I liked the first original
one. Yeah, so like it makes sense that you would probably enjoy this more refined version of a game from your childhood.
You know what else? There's tons of like small things that like I don't even think to mention. But
yeah, here's another thing. Lego is making a licensed Xenoblade Chronicles game.
That's not happening. Nice try though.
Lego Xenoblade.
Nice try though. No, you know what's so. You want to hear something really annoying about the original Wii U game?
What?
For the sake of immersion. Okay, so premise of the game moment here. Everyone that works for the organization Blade, which is like the main military of the game that you work for. Everyone who works for Blade is based out of a city called New Los Angeles, NLA. And there's a giant fucking American flag on the side of the ship. It's funny as fuck. Oh my
god.
But anyways, if you wanted to change your party members out for entirely out of the sake of immersion in the original game, you had to go around all of NLA, which mind you is a big ass city, and you had to find them. There was no party menu. You had to physically find them. Like there's one character who's always hanging out at the bar, or if you want Alma, she's always at the like military district.
That sounds both lame and cool.
It was lame and it was cool. And in the Switch version, it's just a party menu. Thank God you can switch whenever you want.
It sounds cool because on the one hand, it's like, each of these characters have enough development behind them to where each of their locations probably say something about their story and their character. And, like you said, Alma is like the leader of your squadron, and she's always in the military district.
Yeah,
that checks out, right? The soldier would be in the soldiering in the soldier zone.
It feeds back into the whole the angle of like the world doesn't revolve around you in Xenoblade X. Like you are just another guy.
You're just the homie who's showing up to go cause some problems.
But
I guess
in Xenoblade X, they did what I think everyone would prefer, which is you just have a party menu.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having both.
I mean, maybe both is there, but I mean, they might still like be findable in the world.
That's kind of just what I would like to see is like my companions still existing out there doing their own thing.
A big problem with that in the original 2 was EXP was not shared with people who aren't in your active party.
God, hopefully that's fixed.
It is. So not only can you select them at any time at will from a menu, but also everyone gains EXP equally, whether they're in the party or not. So don't have to worry about that, which was a nightmare, I've heard, for people who dared to try to 100% that game.
Yeah, it sounds like it would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because especially if you had to get everyone to max, like it's like playing Pokemon without the level or XP share on.
Yeah, it was intense.
And Pokemon was rough back then. Like it's so much easier now. It's crazy. Like Scarlet and Moon or Scarlet and Violet give you raids that give you a shit ton of XP candy, and you can get like multiple levels if you were just to give like a large XP candy to like a level 1 Pokemon.
Yeah. You got any other questions regarding Xenoblade X? I could go forever, but we do got to wrap up here shortly. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna we'll go ahead and broach spoilers a little bit. So from what I understand, in Xenoblade X, this is gonna be a spoiler for anyone listening. You are actually clones, correct?
You're a robot?
No, you're clones of like.
No, you're a robot.
Oh, you're just you weren't. I thought you're correct. Like you're a robot. I thought you're just genuinely answering. No, you're a robot. The real you is trapped inside the ship.
Yeah, the real you is trapped inside the life hold. And fun fact, this is where Xenoblade X's original cliffhanger comes in. Is you eventually find the life hold. And that's my alarm going off. Where the fuck is that? Where is that? Oh, it's in my coat pocket over here.
Is that still Xenoblade combat music?
Yeah, that's Xenoblade. Wait, it's not in there. Where is that? Oh, it's here. It is. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, well, we'll wrap up by talking about the ending of this because I was curious about the cliffhanger part of it. You got to go by like 10, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll hurry up then. Go ahead.
So, what was I saying? Oh, so in the original cliffhanger, you find the life hold, and it's cool because you find the life hold, and the life hold is flooded, meaning all the data that is supposed to host your body is gone. You don't have a body anymore. It's gone. So you're being remote controlled from nothing, and that's where it's like, Alma's walking in the room and she's like, how is this possible? Must be something about this planet. And then it just cuts to black. And we never knew what the fuck that was supposed to mean. So yeah, that, because I remember distinctly like remembering that we're not the normal like forms of us. Yeah.
And so what that means to me is it sounds like they're going to go into a whole entire sentience like conversation. Maybe like, well, are we real? What is real?
Oh, there's definitely existential dread in Xenoblade X.
Okay.
There's also
that's one of my favorite kind of like thing. Like recently Robert Pattinson came out in a movie called Kyle 13 where it deals with like the reality of cloning yourself and am I real?
Yeah, there's also this one moment in the game where they explain that like Project Exodus, which is the real life Earth organization, quote unquote, that organized the White Whale and all these ships leaving from Earth. Project Exodus only allowed so many people on each of these ships because they had a maximum carrying capacity. And something that kind of gets touched on is that like mostly the people that got into that are like the elite and wealthy.
Yeah.
And one of the characters in particular is really fucking pissed at this. And they go into like that kind of stuff as well.
All right. You're catching my interest here. They got some shitty,
yeah. And that's just the main story stuff. There's a lot of really, really in-depth side content that I've just never done because
So this is going to
I
be
didn't
new.
fucking
Like, there's
bother
going to be
with
a
it.
lot of that's just new to you then.
Yeah, even
So-
though a lot of it was in the original, it's going to be new to me because I never bothered with it.
Hopefully you don't get that cliffhanger ending. Hopefully you get a full.
Well, we know
version.
it. We know for a fact it continues where it left off because we know there was a post-credit scene.
They had 10 years to figure this shit out.
There was a post-credit scene in the original game where a character who you thought died wakes up on a beach, and then the game has the little text box that says this story never really ends, and then that's the real ending of the game. But in the first trailer for the game, they showed that scene, and then they showed a new angle of another character walking up to that guy. So we know it's going to continue from that moment on. Unlike other Xenoblade games, though, where you have Future Connected or the Torn or Golden Country DLC or the Future Redeemed DLC, where you can just select them from the menu, you have to play through the whole game first, and then it continues. So the game is structured into 12 chapters initially, so then that'll then be starting at chapter 13.
Okay.
So it's not selectable from the beginning. You have to play
obviously
through the whole
not,
game. But
That's there for the people who haven't played it and are just Okay.
yeah.
Well, I think you've kind of sold me and made me very interested in checking out Xenoblade X when it comes out.
It comes out on Thursday. My family will not know what happened.
Megan, if you need help finding Gabe, go ahead and let us know in the future. I'll try to figure something out for you. But where can we find you at?
You can find me at this.
Yep, this channel. That's it.
Yeah.
Me, it's WaterMelvin. I'll be posting something eventually, figuring it out. Might get real into wrestling because I was about to give Gabe a 30-minute wrestling talk.
We also had we were going to talk about that. We're going to potentially talk about the Pokemon Presents, but like
we
fucking yapped.
Yeah,
just the two of us.
it's amazing how much he and I can just talk when it's just two of us.
Just
The two of us. We can make it if we try. But anyways, you and I are going to be signing off. This here has been WaterMelvin with Gabriel McSurge. And today, we hope to see you all in the future. I hope you all have a wonderful night. And thank you for watching or listening.
Bye.
Or sleeping. I hope you sleep well.
Make sure you do your dishes. Okay, that's my advice to anyone
really
watching
bad about
this
doing
stream.
it. You'll be on the couch.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on this couch playing this game on this nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
40-inch
buy it myself and show up, and we'll just swap about.
60-inch TV would be great.
Hell yeah, brother! I'm excited for you.
I'm excited.